In this Saturday video, we want to talk about Scroll and their new session 1 of their Marks campaign, which will later on hopefully end in a very juicy airdrop. Without further ado, we want to get right into today's topic. And if you never heard about Scroll, Scroll is an Ethereum layer 2 which just started the airdrop campaign. They had their session 0 where you just had to bridge over assets to the network. And now a few days ago on the 21st of June, they announced that their session 1 is live. And you should interact with DeFi protocols to earn additional marks. Now you might want to ask the question, why should I farm for Scroll? Well, it's very easy. They received a funding of 80 million US dollars with a total valuation of 1.8 million US dollars with very big venture capitals in it. And it might be very lucrative to get a chunk of this airdrop. If we take a look at the current statistics compared to all the other Ethereum layer 2s, Scroll is the one who is growing the most with almost 20%. In the last time period, where you can see the total value locked on the network is sitting just above 900 million US dollars. If we take a look onto DeFi Llama, where all the DeFi protocols are listed, there we can see 364 million of those 900 million US dollars are sitting in the biggest DeFi protocols, which are listed over here as well. So you can see, for example, Aave, which should be very familiar to many. SyncSwap should be known by many from the ZK Sync blockchain, EasySwap from, for example, Manta. We have Ambient and many more, which you want to take a look into in a few moments. As I already mentioned in the beginning, they just posted on the 21st of June that their so-called Scroll Session 1 campaign is now live, and you should interact with all those DeFi protocols I already mentioned to earn additional marks. The first thing you should do before you can interact with those DeFi protocols is, of course, bridge some funds over to the network. Therefore, you can use the official bridge from Scroll, which is currently very cheap. I'm currently recording this video on a Saturday morning, but Ethereum gas fees overall are pretty cheap compared to what they were a few months ago, where you pay 20 US dollars upwards for a single transaction, as you can see down here. If you would now bridge 0.005 Ethereum from the Ethereum blockchain to Scroll, you would just pay around 1 US dollar in fees, and the funds would arrive between 30 minutes and 1 hour on the network, and then you can use it to play with all those DeFi protocols. You, of course, don't have to use the official bridge. There are many others like Orbiter, like Rhino, like Jumper, or whatever you want to use. There are now also bridges from the biggest liquid restaking protocols, like, for example, EtherFi. That's why I want to show this example, because many of you shouldn't have heard of this yet. So what you want to do if you have the liquid restaking token of EtherFi on another network and you want to bridge it over to Scroll, you can just navigate to ether.fi. Then you want to go to the Stargate bridge here in this case. So we also collect another transaction here for the season 2 of the layer 0 airdrop. And then you just choose the asset you have over there. I, for example, have the liquid restaking token of EtherFi on Blast and want to bridge it over to Scroll. So you just choose the network you have the assets on, then the destination network, which is of course Scroll. If you can't find it immediately, you just type in Scroll and click on it. And then you can see I have a balance over here of 0.09 Ethereum. I just click on max. The costs are 1 US dollars 26. Stargate is, of course, a little bit more expensive, but keep in mind, we are also farming for season 2 of layer 0. So I think it's definitely worth it. Then you just want to click on transfer, confirm the transaction in your wallet, and then it's already done. So I click on sign, and then my funds should arrive almost immediately because Scroll is very fast. And there is already the transaction submitted sign. And in a few moments, the transaction should already be finished. As you can see here, green bar is loaded and my funds are now on the Scroll network. And you can see all those funds if you navigate to the so-called Scroll sessions, which is basically your overview of all the assets and all the marks you already earned on the network. Here, you also just want to connect your wallet, and then you should already see all the marks you earned from, for example, bridging over assets to the chain. And now, as I mentioned in the beginning, the DeFi protocols also count towards those marks. So if we scroll all the way down, you can see we are now in session 1, and there are a lot of decentralized exchanges which you can use, as well as lending and borrowing protocols. And if we scroll all the way down, there was session 0, where all the assets which you had on the network earned you those marks. I, for example, interacted a little bit with ETH and wrapped ETH. Had some USDC on here, some liquid restaking tokens from KRYPTOBÖRSEN, and a lot of other assets also qualify for those marks. Just make sure you just use those assets which are displayed here on the dashboard, because other assets won't earn you marks right away. Those might be tracked later on, but as of right now, just the assets you can see here earn you those marks. That's why we want to focus now on the DeFi protocols on the network. We have in the category of decentralized exchanges, Ambient and Nuri. And if we take a look on all protocols, you can already see there's also Izumi, SyncSwap, Zebra, and Oku Trade. And if we take a look into the lending and borrowing section, we have a very well-known protocol, which is Aave. This is probably the most safest lending and borrowing protocol out there. Then we have Row Markets, which is a tokenless protocol. So we might also interact with this one. And if we take a look at the other ones, we have Cork Finance, which I never heard of. And we have Compound, Layer Bank, and Synonym, which are also all pretty big. So we want to now supply funds on all those decentralized exchanges as well as lending and borrowing protocols to earn additional marks. And I, for this example, chose Ambient. So you want to navigate over to Ambient. You can just click on Go to Ambient, which will lead you over. This is a safe link. And then you can go to the pools and just provide some liquidity over here. They have ETH and USDC. And if we take a look at the other assets, you can also provide a stablecoin pair or the liquid restaking token of KRYPTOBÖRSEN paired with ETH or all the other ones. And of course, the more funds you provide, the more marks you will get in the end. Same counts, of course, for the lending and borrowing protocols. Here, the first I wanted to mention is Aave, because again, it's the most safest one. And here you can just supply ETH or USDC. You can navigate to the scroll market by just clicking on this button, and then you want to choose scroll, of course. Then you can supply those funds, borrow assets against that, loop it. That's completely up to you what you want to do here. You just want to collect interactions with these DeFi protocols to have a footprint on the blockchain for the marks. And if you want to go with a little bit higher risk one, which is the new protocol called Row Markets, where you can also earn points for the future airdrop of this protocol, you can already see the points tab over here, because they have more assets available which you can supply. So for example, you can also supply Stone or 2 liquid restaking tokens, or for example also Solve BTC, which is a native Merlin chain protocol where you can now easily bridge your funds over to a scroll. That's completely up to you. And then again, borrow funds against that, loop it, or buy other assets with those funds. And all these interactions will earn you the scroll marks, which then later on will show up here on this dashboard and should then in the end qualify you for the future scroll airdrop. And that's basically everything you can do right now in session 1. I will of course keep you updated once they have new sessions available. I'm pretty sure they will do it very similar to Linear in their initial stages, where they had this campaign with Interact, where you just had to use DeFi protocols. Then later on, you had to interact with the community and do other kind of things in the ecosystem. But more about that again in future videos. If you don't want to miss them, just hit the subscribe button. I release videos almost on a daily basis on such topics. If you like today's one, hit the like button as well. And then we'll meet in the next one. See you then.